another very interesting and useful tool, which is Google Form. Now, Google Form is widely used. It not only has an academic, in fact, it can not only be used for academic purposes, but you can also use it to collect information for a survey or for administrative purposes and so many more things. So a Google form basically can also be turned into a quiz. So you can have multiple choice, you can select out of the range of tasks. You can have a multiple choice task, or you can have a short answer type, a long answer type task, a gap fill task. So it gives you a lot of options, and plus you can key in the responses, and as in you can have an answer key incorporated in the form, so that when your learners attempt the task and they click on the answers, the feedback is immediate. They immediately come to know how many they have got right, and you also get a summary of their performance at your end. So this is again a very handy tool. Let's have a look at it.
We'll be looking at using Google Forms to create a questionnaire or a quiz. For that, we need to get into our Google Drive as always. Right, so yeah. So we go to Google Drive and click on New, and then on More and to Google Forms. Now, I'm going to stick to my video on earth science. So what is earth science? This is the title, and when I click over here, the title appears over here, right? And I'm going to describe this. So maybe I'll write an introduction, right? Yeah. Now I want to add a video. So I click over here, and like earlier, I either key in the content words or copy paste the link. So let's see what this gives me. So I've got these videos and I click on this one, and yes, I have my video here. Now if you pull this at the corners, you can increase or decrease the size of the video. Similarly, you want to align it, you can change the alignment. So I have positioned it in the center, and here's my instruction. So I am going to instruct my students to watch this video and attempt the task given below by choosing the correct option. That's right. So there's one question that appears by default. So I'm going to choose that. But what I need to know first is the name of my student. So I'll say name. And when I click on this, it gives me a whole lot of choices of task types. So I will click on short answer. So here my student will enter his or her name. After that, I'll go over here, and if I hover my cursor, it says add question. So I'll just click on it and I'll choose multiple choice grid. So I'm going to give a list of things, and I'm going to write, what does earth science study? Right? That's my question. And I'm going to give a host of things. The first is the movement of planetary bodies, and then understanding sciences that affect the movement of or affect the atmosphere, cultures and communities, and then climate change, water conservation, right? And opening up and closing of rivers. And let's have just one last point, sustainable measure of life. Right. So we have around 7 options here, and in the column I'm going to put 2 options, that is yes and no. So my task is ready, and now I want to turn it into a quiz. So I go to settings and I click on settings and I click on quizzes and I activate this button. So I'm making this a quiz and I save the changes. Right, now there's another thing which I need to do, that is give an answer key. Click on answer key over here, and what I do is I click on the correct options as according to the video. So what does earth science study? The movement of planetary bodies? No. Understanding sciences that affect the atmosphere? Yes. Cultures and communities? No. Climate change? Yes. Water conservation? Yes. Yes. And yes. Now I can also add points here. So what I'm going to do is I give 5 points to each. I can either use the arrow, up arrow or the down arrow, or I can type the number directly. So my quiz is almost ready, and what I do is I go back to, so now this is ready to be shared. The answer key is ready, and I click on the send button. So when I click on the send button, I have these options. I can either send it via mail, or I can click on this link and this link appears. I can even shorten the URL, and I can share this URL. So I can either send it through WhatsApp or write it on the board or whatever means suits me. And then now let's open this in a new window, open the link in a new window and see what it looks like to my student. So my student doesn't have to have a Gmail account. They don't need to go to Google Drive or open it in Google Forms. They can directly copy paste the link. And here, this is where I'm logged in as a student. And when I click on this, the video starts to play. So I can I can zoom it. Okay, so it says full screen is unavailable, but that's okay. I can always watch it, right? And then I give my name over here. And so let us see, it's a 35-point quiz. It's a quiz of 35 marks. So what do? The movement of planetary bodies. Say I haven't watched the video carefully, so I just say yes. Okay, yes, no, yes, yes, no, and yes. I have deliberately given 2 or 3 incorrect answers just to see what happens. So I'm submitting this, and now let's see if I can, what my scores say. So this is the best part of Google Forms. The feedback is immediate. So I immediately come to know as a student which of these I have got right and which I have answered incorrectly, right? And that's the feedback I get, and this is my score. Now let's go back to my drive and let me see what's there for me in it. So I can see over here there's one response, so I click on this and this is the summary. It says that one student has responded and has scored 25 on 35, and it also gives a kind of idea to me as to which questions the student responded to incorrectly, the name of the student, and this is a graphic response. So this is all about Google Forms, which is a great way to keep a check or to keep track on the progress of your learners, their involvement, and it is a great and handy tool to incorporate in the blended learning classroom and especially the flipped classroom approach. Thank you.